Report. Yeah,
Yes.
report.
Recap, yesterday we had seen this data model parameters, how to create the LOVs and the parameters, right? So how
Right,
will create a
right.
dependency parameter team?
Sorry?
How we will create a dependency parameter for a supplier and the site?
You have to create a giving reference of the parent LOV and also have to check that's refresh the depend other LOV. That I need to check the field names.
Okay.
Just
How you
something.
will get the data for the dependency parameter as a technical? Technically, how will you get for the dependency parameter values?
I have to give that reference of parent parameter, right, in the query, SQL query.
That is one of the criteria. The next.
And we have to select the checkbox which is showing the refresh the other parameters, other
Okay,
LOB
need to be
something like that.
select the refresh other parameter on change property, right team? So select the parent parameter and enable refresh other parameter on change on the parent parameter and pass the parameter to your child parameter LOB so that whenever you select any parent parameter, when you click on the movement tab, right? So the other parameters will be refreshed and the respective LOBs will be executed with the parent values and you may see the associate values in your child parameter team. Okay. So today, what we will see. Okay. Today, we'll see this the aggregate functions. Okay. Which is summary and the formula columns followed by data links. We'll try to cover straight. And scheduling. Edit the data model. And how to restrict the parameters at the report level team. Anyone remember? How to restrict the parameter to the end user at runtime. We need to be stop the user to be enter the parameters, right? What is the property we need to be used at the report level? Team. It's auto run property, right? At the report level, property in the general tab, there is auto run checkbox. By default, it will be enabled. Whenever you have any parameters, right, without entering the report, it will try to execute. To restrict that, you need to disable that auto run property so that the report will be wait until enter the parameters for the end user. We had seen right team yesterday, this one. Team, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Team respond here, please. Yes or no, whatever. Okay. So, okay. Now we'll try to add one more group team here, which is Q underscore invoices. This is select vendor ID, amount, invoice number from AP invoice sorting. Click on okay. Amount. It's invoice amount or amount. Okay. So this is a group team, G2 group. The way you may create a number of groups within the data model, and you may add the relationship between the groups team depends on your use case. It's not mandatory to be add any data links. It's not a mandatory team. It's your wish. how you want to be expect the data in an XML structure, define your RTF team. For example, when you add a relationship between G1 to G2, right? G1 is a parent, G2 is a child. Still, if you have the G3, right? And G2 to G3, it's a G2 is a parent, G3 is your child. And when you add a relationship between G1 to G2 and G3, G2 and G3, two childs for a parent G1 team. The way you will get the data within the XML data structure and try to use the same within the RTF as per your requirement. Now, so between these two, we do have the common column is vendor ID. Okay. So select the vendor ID here, create a link, and G1 dot vendor ID should goes to G2 dot vendor ID team. And do remember, whenever you're trying to add the data links between like this, between the groups, try to use the ID stream. Okay. Do not goes the numbers, something, the transaction data. You may add the segment one, right? For the both level, G1 and G2. It's not a best practice team. Always use the IDs. If you use the source of transaction related information for G1 and G2, right, it will hit the performance issues team. Okay. So always the relationship goes from primary key to the foreign keys to the foreign keys, or primary key to the foreign keys relationships. Okay. So this is a data link and there is a symbol here, and you may see this is G1 dot vendor ID equals to G2 dot vendor ID. You may use the same, the invoice, AP invoice table within the G1 group team, no issues. You may use that, but just trying to explain how to use this data links team. So if you want to be delete, just delete here. And if you want to enable again, you may use the create a link here or just drag and drop team. Okay, the link has been added here. Now try to verify the data. So as of now, date, just exclude the date team here. So are we getting any invoice numbers here? So for this supplier team, there is 10016 supplier. There are a couple of invoices team. These are invoices, invoice amounts. So for this vendor ID, so this is the value. Okay. So when you download the data, right, you may get the data. When you click on the export, you may get the data as a parent and your childs. Now, the summary columns and the formula columns team, the aggregate functions. Mostly everyone familiar with these team, right? So within R12 for an RDF stream, you may use the summary columns, right? To perform any summary or perform any aggregate function within the data set columns, we may use the C. I would like to get invoice total team. I would like to get the supplier related all the invoices total, or how many invoices are there, the count of invoices, the invoice total, and so on. So I would like to be get followed by the aggregate functions. Then how it will support it. If you look at for each data set, for each group, there is a hint, drop here for aggregate function, drop here for an aggregate function. At the global level team, here also you may see drop here for an aggregate function. Okay, by using this, right, you may perform aggregate functions team. Now invoice amount team, just drag and drop over here. See, you cannot create an aggregate function on the same group. You cannot create an aggregate function on the same group. Always it need to be depend on your parent group team to perform any aggregate function. Parent group. So G2 is the parent is a G1. So I would like to expect the invoice total within the G1 group team. Okay. Now drag and drop over here. So how you want to back to this? Count, average, first, last, maximum, minimum, and summary team. Use the summary and the properties over here. Here also you may change the function however you want. This is invoice total. And the value if null 0, round off 2, click on OK. Similarly, how many counts team? Invoice number, count, properties, count, invoice count. In the data, this is one of the supplier data, 7, which is 10014. This supplier has 2 invoices, which is 1 and 2. And the total of this is 2,500, 1,000 and 1,500. The count is 210. And for this supplier, this is the invoice total and it's a count. 24 invoices are there for this supplier team. And when you click on the export, right? Try to hard code for this, you will get the data, how it is. Otherwise, the XML will be very large. It's a lengthy. This is G1 group and the header data from G1. And this is G2. You have a couple of records over there. And the invoice totality and invoice count. You are getting same as with given the XML tag name, right? Invoice total, invoice count. Okay.
Vijay, it looks like a parent-child relationship, right?
Yeah, same, right? Okay. So the way you may go for aggregate function still, I would like to get the whole invoice total team, all the invoice total, then the global level function will come into picture team. Because we need a source, right, to perform at the global level. So for this, the default source is there. You may use the invoice total over here. However you want, you may use properties. It's a summary, something invoice grand total. So this invoice grand total team. These invoice grand total, right? Within the screen team, within the screen or on the screen, you may see, as of now, we are trying to get the 5 records over here, right? So you are getting the invoice grand total of these 5 records team. Okay. And these XML tag or the column, you may see within the tree view representation, whereas the table view, see, you are not able to see because still we have the more records for this to be displayed the data. The reason it's not showing at the table view, but the tree view, you may see of the 5 records, the grand total team. When you export the same, right, you will get the value and straight away you may use this value in your RTF team, invoice grand total. For this 5 records of the invoices is a grand total, something 19317.12. The way a global level will come into picture in this data set. Team, any doubts here? It's clear?
Yes.
Others team? Followed?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We have like few options, right, where you selected summary. So what are those other things like used for?
These are functions.
Yeah, in the functions, yeah.
The first, you will get the first record. The last record.
Yeah, first
the
class
maximum.
maximum. Yeah. So
Minimum.
summary means like what? Like the total?
Yeah, total. Summary is nothing
Okay.
but total. You will get the total.
Okay. got it.
In generally, if you want to use the summary, we need to use a group by, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a SQL. So Oracle is providing a feature for us straight away by using these aggregate functions. Do not make it SQL complex. Use these features to perform these aggregate functions. It's very
Okay.
easy to use. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So there we can consider as employee and dependents information reports if we can do the same like that,
Same.
right?
Same.
Yeah. Why? Because actually, I mean, my background is HCM, so it's
Same.
related to
There is no change.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine.
Other stream. Still, any doubts over here? Okay. Move on to the next. The formula column stream. The formula columns. What is the purpose of formula column? The question goes to the EBS expertise. The purpose of formula column, I'm not expecting an answer to perform a calculations. Apart from this, what is the purpose of the formula column? How it will be act? Please do not respond the previous batch members team. The question goes to the EBS expertise. As a common practice, you may use the formula columns in your RDFs.
Yeah, if you want to get multiple values or multiple validations to be done, we'll use formula columns like
Multiple
in RDF.
validations. Where you will perform, Abhilash, the validations?
Sorry, not validation in sense like multiple. If you want to catch
Calculation?
multiple values, let's say I want to return more than one value in the formula columns. So let's say calculations, multiple calculations to be we are doing in same formula column with the same tables. So
Okay.
let's say in PL/SQL we'll use variables, multiple variables in a single select block to get the values. So if you are using same tables and if you want to return multiple values in the same select statement, function cannot return multiple values. It will only return one value. So what we'll do is in RDF we'll have a placeholder column and we'll store that values in the placeholder columns and we'll return one value from the formula column. So that's the purpose that we'll use in the formula column in the RDF.
Okay. Thanks, Abhilash. Others team, anyone get an opportunity here. The purpose.
Or
As a
purpose
simple.
of the formula column is to have done some calculation based on some your PLSQL queries in
Okay.
PLSQL based on
In a
PLSQL,
simple
right?
terminology, still, team, the purpose, how it will be act, at least for an answer for this, please. Okay, no problem, team. So the formula columns will be used to perform calculations, team, mostly to be performed the calculations on the existing columns within the SQL team, right? So the purpose of formula column, nothing but the database column stream, the standard database column, it's not meet our requirement on database columns or on top of the existing database columns. If you want to be performing calculations, right, we can go for formula column and it will act same as your database column for each row, right team? It's not similar to your aggregate functions. Whereas aggregate function will repeat one time against a result set, whereas the formula column will repeat for each row as a column, however you define the new one team, same as your existing one. Okay, the way at the group level team, at the group level, you may create your own formula column and it will act same as your database column. Okay, see G2 group here, add element by expression, add element by expression, here also add element by expression team. At the global level, right team, global level function. See, when you see, excuse me, team, just have some.
Okay.
See, this is add element by expression at the global level function team. At the global level function, you will get an access of what are the columns are available within the global level, followed by the parameters access team you will get over here, the parameters access. So on top of this, you may create your own formula column. Now I'm going to create the G2 level, add element by expression. So the G2 level, whichever columns are available, right? Those you may see here, G2 level, followed by the default parameters stream. So here something XXA invoice number, something I would like to manipulate my existing column. Invoice number, select the invoice number. So the function stream for this, these are the functions will be available. If not, and or max, min, and so on. So some concat string, substring in string team. Whatever you want, you may use here. For example, concat. So this is char1, char2, char3, something hyphen test. The validate expression. The way you may perform any calculations as well, team, by using operators here, the pipe symbol and so on. So this is a new column now will be create the data type. If it is a calculator, right, use a double float. If it is a date, use a date. Integer in the string. Click on OK. See, now it's a new column on my G2 group team. New column on my G2 group. Click on the data, view, XX invoice number team. See, whereas your aggregate functions will show only one time. So your formula columns team, it will act the same as your DB column as a custom column. On top of your existing columns, right? You may create your own column and try to perform a calculations or the logics, however you want, provided by Oracle feature stream, whichever functions are there. Okay. And on top of this, still if you want to be perform in aggregate functions, yes, you may perform to your wish. Okay. The way formula columns will come into picture team. It's clear?
Yeah.
Team.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yeah, can't we use SQL, Vijay?
sorry.
Can't we use PL/SQL blocks in that formula column? We are using directly column level expressions, right?
Yes, sir. Just
Ah.
exclude the PL/SQL concept within the Fusion application.
Okay.
Not only here, the entire the Fusion application for all the BIP reports and the reporting categories, there is no PL/SQL.
Hmm.
Only for the integrations, custom database will come into picture. There you may get a chance to write up PL/SQL packages. Okay. Apart from that, if you're working with the BIP reports or OTBS, anything within the Fusion application, there is no PL/SQL. Since we are connecting to our SaaS application, there is no write access for us to be create DB related object stream. Okay.
Okay.
Now, group level filter stream here. See, create a group filter. So you may restrict the data. So based on some condition stream here. For example, if my supplier number, this is supplier number. If my supplier number equals something 10016, then only I will try to, would like to get a value team. Okay. Now we will get the data if the supplier is 10016. So and so. In general, in real time, we never use this group filter stream. You may use directly within the SQL as well. Am I right? You may
Yes.
restrict it within the SQL team. So do not use these group level filters. Whoever the developers will see, they're working on behalf of your right time after some later for your replacement. So in generally, we never touch this group filter stream. So these are user friendly, directly handled within the SQL itself. Okay. So this is a create group link and so. That's it. Why create group link is not enabling here? Not sure. And now group by team. You may perform a group by here. So for how you want to be get the data, which is supplier number by something, for example. So here group by team. For each column, you may see the group by. Aggregate elements found in the parent group, you want to be delete the link. When you try to perform group by, so obviously your aggregate functions will be destructive. Okay, so keep in mind when you're trying to use group by, so aggregate functions do not be used within the group stream. So when you click on OK, your aggregate functions will be excluded from here and it's a group by team. Now you may add here. So still you will get an error. You cannot perform an aggregate function between the two group stream without a data link. Okay? Now you may get the data which is a group by. Group by team. So 0016. If you want to be unlink, ungroup here. Okay. Now the create group link will come into picture team here. There is an option. Group link G2. We are getting the data for this 10016. These are supplier stream. The way you need to be exclude the aggregate function for a specific column. And however you are using group by, right? So by default, you'll get the data between the groups. This create group link will come into picture when you use group by team. If you don't want, just ungroup it here. Again, it's back. And exclude the delete group link as well. Not allowing. First, you need to be delete, right? Let's reopen the data model. Let's see. Okay. So it's done team. Now just back to report once. Okay, before that, the parameter sequence team here to be displayed these parameters. There is a row placement team. Now in a single row team, there are 3 parameters followed by in a single row, you are able to see the parameters, the data model level team. See 1, 2, 3. The position will be in a single row team. The way you may change this pattern to be displayed. So the first row date, the second row supplier number, second row site team. Your wish. These parameters you can rearrange like this. Similarly, these changes you may perform at report level as well team. Moreover, in real time, mostly at report level, we will change these formatting details, the parameter display at runtime. Okay? See the catalog. Edit. The parameters team here, parameters. I have 3 parameters, the same representation here. Here also you may change the row placement, how you want to be changed. Okay. And at runtime, if you want to be disable the parameter team, the option you will get at report level, not the data model level. Runtime, this parameter will be hide, but the value will be passed to your SQL team, pdate. Okay. And the parameter location, as of now, the parameters displaying the horizontal region team. Okay. If you have the more parameters, go for the vertical region. This is a vertical region team. If the horizontal is nothing but like this, it will display the first position date, the second position number and site. This is a vertical representation. If you have 20, 12, 13, more than 10 parameters, right? just go for vertical representation so that it's user easy to be select the values from the given parameters. And if you have more parameters team, 20, 25, such like that, right? The location should be full page team, full page. The parameters will dedicate it to special page. It's a full page. So when you click on OK, we'll try to execute when you enter the values. This is about something parameters at report level team. You will get a question when you are attending the interviews. How I can disable the parameter runtime, but I should be pass the value. So the property is available at report level team, not your data model level. Here also you may pass the default values team. The default values, however you want. See, now as for the supplier number, the default value, it's getting all the values you're getting from your LOVs team. LOVs. From this LOV, if you want to be set any default value, right? This value will be populate your report level team directly when you're trying to launch the report. See. So for this, if there is a site is there automatically being executed, click on OK, you will get the result. So and so. Okay. So move on to the scheduling of a BIP report team. Any doubts so far?
Yeah, Vijay, before we move, just one question. Like
Yep.
here we are using defaulting value, right? So in EBS, if you see, we mostly create a report based on some profile values, right? Default
There is no
value from
profile
profiles,
concept.
right?
There is
Okay,
no
there is
profile
no-
concept.
Okay.
Others team. Still, any doubts over here?
Sir, how do we practice these? Like, should we just replicate what you are doing it, or we
Yes,
should
exactly. Whichever I'm trying to execute here, right? Just
okay.
perform the same from your end. It's more enough to be get a practice.
Okay.
More and more enough. Going forward, still we do have some complex subject on the reporting. These 10 hours, if you really practice, right, you will get a comfort. You're in a comfort zone to be work on any BAP report. If you know the tables and all. Get it?
Yeah, sure. Sir.
Okay. Schedule team. So when we are going for a schedule, right? So the report needs to be executed for every 1 day or every 6 hours, every 1 hour, right? Just specific, depends on the frequency. We may schedule the report, or if your report has more data type, if your report has more data, see, when I click on the view report and when you click on the OK, if you have n number of records team, unlimited, infinite data, something such like that, if you have more huge data, then you cannot get the data on the screen team when you try to run the report like this. Even though when you are running the report as ad hoc base like this, you won't get the data if you have the hues. You may get an error, data limit exception, while rendering the data from data model to report team. So the data model execution is faster, but when it is rendering the data from SQL to your report team, the layout, it may take some 30 minutes, 1 hour also team. The moment you may get a runtime error here exception, there is a data rendering issue. The moment go for schedule a BAP report team. Just schedule it and just wait until the report will be complete. So here actions, schedule. This is for a schedule report the symbol. And once you schedule, you may see the schedule result team within the job history. Just a minute, team.
So
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Someone is asking.
So here we see three options, right? Schedule and job, basically two options.
Yeah. So when you schedule a job, right, you need to give a job name for that schedule. You need to give a user defined name for that schedule. So the job related history, how the job has been executed, the schedule information, you may get it from the job history. There are two steps. Okay. First, write a schedule. You may schedule a report at report level from report edit and the report level, or you may schedule from catalog screen itself. Do not confuse. See, this is a report. Click on the more and the schedule and history. Schedule and history. So if you want to be see the jobs whichever been scheduled already, right? You may verify it. The same three options will be available at the report from the catalog screen, or you may edit the report, and there also you may schedule a report. The same three options will be available over here. So this is the schedule screen, the user interface, the parameter section, and the output table. So this is the output region, output name, something supplier output, your wish. Layout, these are the layouts we define right at the report level. Whichever layout you want, you may use. And the format, the output, how you want to be expect. So by default, English language, time zone, calendar, Gregorian, save output sound setting. These are the default properties. This output to send an email, destinations, email, FTP, content server. So if it is email, add the destination. This output will be added over here, attachment. Something is my email ID, vijay.techfusion@gmail.com. So if you have any doubts, any clarifications, team, just send an email to this email address, team. I will respond back to you whenever time permits. Without practice, do not shoot an email to me, team. My sincere request. Something supplier data message, my team. Yeah. So now the schedule. How you want to be goes for the schedule? It's a frequency one, hourly, minute, daily, weekly, monthly, annually, specific dates, however you want it. So as of now, go for ad hoc base and the notification date. Whenever the schedule has been completed, the post completion of the schedule, if you want to be notified any email or any notification, mostly will enable this feature in real time. When the schedule was failed, completed with a warning, the report completed with a warning, report failed, report skipped, you may get a notification. Team, as of now, just use when report completed as well, so that we'll see how it works. Diagnostics, enable SQL planting. The post execution of the report, if you want to get an explain plan, how much CPU cost it is taking for an execution for your SQL team. Enable this checkbox, okay? Try to submit, provide a user defined name, something TL47, supplier, job. So this is job successfully submitted, team. Click on OK, return, just navigate to history, team here. This is job history. Okay. So this is the success status, team. Click on the job name. So it took around 1.3.59 seconds here. For example, if it is taking more time, right, team, there is two chances, two probabilities here. One is a data model, the SQL may take more time to be executed, or the data should be rendered to the output, right? For that also, it may take some time too. Here you will get a hint when it is running status, right? You will get a hint team here. Data fetch successfully completed, rendering the output. If a data fetch is still in progress, right, you will get an error, SQL execution is in progress. Okay, so that you may get a hint here team. When you click on the mouse over here like this, you will get a hint. This is supplier output, expand here. Now this successfully delivered to the source email ID. When you click on this here, right, you may get an output over here. So based on your settings also, we'll get an output. As of now, we hard coded something, right? So we did not get an output. Now, again, you need to be generate the layout team since we change our so and so, right? Verify your email team. And just back here. See it in there. Output and delivery here, XML data. So whichever output it is trying to render, right? All the XML data, you may get it over here. All the XML data. Give just a minute. So this XML data will get him all the XML. In generally, for a data model, you will get 5 to 100 or 200 records, right? Whereas a report history level team, you will get all XML data against your output. So diagnostics log, this button will be enabled. This icon will be enabled. When you're scheduling a report and when you enable explain plan checkbox team, if you remember the last step to be enabled, right? So the diagnostic log will be enabled. Click on this. The log will be generated. Here you may get an explain plan. This is explain plan team. The CPU cost, it's a minimal taking time rate. There is no issues. You may read this. Now the email notification. See. So this is the output we getting, subject, email body, and source output PDF being attached. And this is the notification team. We enable the checkbox, right? When job completes, report completes. So we'll get job name, execution date, status successfully processed, and the history team. Click on this. We'll directly navigate over history screen. These parameters we pass to so and so. This is about how to schedule a BIP report team. Any doubts here, team? Followed?
Yes.
Yes. One question, small question is here. You are creating a report and everyone can see the report, right?
Yeah.
So is there any way like we can have some restriction somewhere that
That is we'll say the last.
okay.
The restriction permissions and we'll say the last, Krishna.
Okay, thank
Last
you.
is
Okay.
the security. You mean to say security, right?
Right, kind of.
We'll take the last, the permissions.
Mhm.
Yes, we can restrict.
Okay, sir, one question.
Yeah.
So if we get into a situation where the report is taking too long and not executing, so what are the
That is
options we
next
have?
I'm trying to explain the next
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
other stream.
Apart from email, there was one FTP option also.
Yeah,
What?
the FTP we'll see the next within the bursting concept.
Okay.
There
Okay.
it easy to understand. Okay, so the SQL execution team. By default, the SQL should be executed within the 300 seconds. the default timeout SQL is 300 seconds stream. If it is exceeds 300 seconds, it will issue the query timeout and the report completes with an error status. The report completes with an error status if it is exceeds 300 seconds, which is the default timeout team. Just navigate to the global properties here. Okay. The default query timeout team, the default 300 seconds, the way up to 1800 seconds, you may hard code here team. 300, 400, 600, 800, 1000, so also 1800 seconds team. Up to 1800 seconds, the SQL will try to execute to get a result. Still, if it is exceeds 1800 seconds team, there is no way to do anything. Obviously, you need to be tune your SQL team. You need to be tune your SQL. Try to get an explain plan, which is a pre-execution team. Okay. So query timeout is 1800 something, and open the data set here, generate explain plan team. This is a pre-execution. Click on this. You will get explain plan. At least you will get some hints team how the CPU cost is taking between the tables. Okay. So in between, if it is taking more CPU costs for source or table, right? Try to involve some other tables and try to add the index columns over there. So that CPU cost will be less and you may, improve the performance team. And avoid the in clauses, just use exist and not exist and so on. And use a with class usage team, with class. Implement a with class because there is no PL SQL, right? Avoid your correlated subqueries, avoid the subqueries, avoid inline views team. Everything should goes to the with class. That is, I will cover the with class when we are working with our images and subtemplates team. Okay. Now the global properties include empty tags for null elements team. See, you need to enable this checkbox. For example, in your data set, something vendor side code assume the values null team. Values null, for example. So wherever null values are there in a specific row, those XML tags will not be downloaded to the local machine team. But for some other records, you may have data for that. Right? So in order to build your RTF, you need that XML tag team. The moment, just enable this property, include empty tags for null elements, so that you will get those null XML tags also in your XML file team. So still, okay, that's it. This about. So this is about something data model and report level team. So tomorrow we'll see the busting concept. This busting. Team, any doubts before closing for the day? Be practice team.
Vijay, I have one question, Vijay.
Yeah.
Generally, in EBS, once we prepare the RDF, we will attach to that request group and all those things to create a concurrent program.
Yeah.
But in Fusion, it will be similar way what we have shown.
Yeah, we have the concurrent program is nothing but ES's job. Request set is nothing but job set. That is we'll see come across.
Okay. Means other than those, you showed us the scheduling program. They will run like that as well in general.
Sorry, the scheduling.
You showed one. You created one report and you ran by scheduling, right?
Yes.
Okay, that is the one way. But otherwise, is create the
Otherwise,
ESS
you can
job.
go for ESS job, same as concurrent program.
Okay.
The user will. You remember the schedule process. Within the tool schedule process for a security, we submitted a couple of ESS jobs, if you remember. Right? There, the user will submit our report.
Okay.
End user will run the report from there. There is no access to the catalog stream for the end user. They will straight away submit from the schedule process, same as our concurrent program, from a specific responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what we'll cover. Come across, we'll see. First, tomorrow we'll